Hi you guys, this is Barbie Baptiste Gardner with Mommy Sense, Mastering Our Means to Success.
Okay. Listening to you and okay, so before this, like I said, I met Kim in our Lights Camera Branding group. So I am learning so much about her now as we're speaking. So I definitely I want to know, Kim, you said you had your bakery before. Was it a brick and mortar or?
No, it was never a brick and mortar, and I chose that for a reason, and that's because I wanted to be there for my family. If it was a brick and mortar, I would never be there,
Right.
Because I did all of the research that it took as far as the brick and mortar,
Right.
and I spoke with a lot of business owners who were in that field, and you literally have to dedicate at least, I would say, 30 hours or more a week at the establishment. You have to make sure your presence is known and felt, because if you leave someone else to run your business, they will run it into the ground.
Right.
And then the first 2 years are so important, because for the food industry, it's a higher failure rate. Right. So most of the restaurant owners and the business owners that go into the food field, their businesses fail within the first year. So if you make it past the first year, you're winning. If you make it past the second year, you're really winning.
Right.
So I just didn't want to sacrifice all that time, because even without the brick and mortar, I felt like you were saying, I felt guilty. I felt like, oh, I'm not there enough. So I can imagine if I had an actual location that I had to leave and just be gone all day, pretty much all evening. And then my husband, I'm like, why would I get? Yeah, because, husbands have needs too. So I didn't want to sacrifice them in that way.
Right.
So I chose to sacrifice them in a lesser manner than the full blown. My husband never gets to see me. My kids never get to see me. He's raising them. He's wondering where I'm at. And yeah, I just didn't.
But that's important that you're saying that, because I think that I've had friends who have high profile careers, and then they feel as though thinking that when you are an entrepreneur and you're working from home, that you get to be very present with your children. And I can compare that with when I freelance with wardrobe. It's definitely different worlds apart. Not the same. I definitely do get to see my kids a lot more. But it is not it's not like it's a full bonding time. It's not like that. Not if you are, aggressively working on a business. Yes. Now, when you get, when your business is operating the way it should, of course, that's what we're striving for. But
yes,
in the beginning, no. What led you, because you weren't always online, how you have your In the Kitchen with Kim, where you cook every Friday and you do a Facebook Live on that, and you're showing us a recipe, a vegan recipe, and how we make it from start to finish. You weren't doing that before with the bakery side, correct?
No, I wasn't. I was always online. So the name of my bakery is alittlepieceofcake.com, and it's been that since the very beginning.
Okay.
So when I first started it, I had that in mind. I wanted it to be online. I didn't really, like I said, I didn't want to do the brick and mortar thing. So I set it up to where they either call or email their order in. I fulfill it, and then we deliver it.
So I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead. Oh, no,
What
go
made
ahead.
you take the step to get on camera with things?
The step to get on camera is that I was burnt out.
Okay.
Working this cake business, as it grows, as the years go by, you know, it's just more clientele, more hours, and my level of growth, because I'm self-taught. So
I did not know that.
yes, I didn't go to school to become a pastry chef, but I've learned everything under the sun that there is to know about that
Okay.
to earn my own badge
Okay.
as being a pastry chef. And then I have the years, the hours, and the experience to be able to call myself a pastry chef. So my first cake did not look like my cakes do now. And it was a gradual process. But now that I built my business, I have my clientele, it's not stopping anytime soon. I'm getting older. I just had a baby 3 years ago, and she really put things in perspective for me. I'm like, I cannot continue to work 12 to 15-hour days. I just can't. And as I'm getting older, it's more that I want out of life. I want to be able to travel the world. I want to be able to experience life in a way that I haven't, because I'm just so busy working and focusing and grinding. Yeah, that's okay for them. They're reaping all of the benefits. But for me, it's a recipe for burnout.
Right.
Because I'm only one person. I've tried several times to get people to help, to hire people, and no one takes it as serious as I do.
Right.
And that's when I had the whole perfectionist thing going on as well. So it just never really worked out. And my clients know when I make the cake and decorate the cake, opposed to when someone else makes the cake, and they do. They're sharp. And they're like, oh, no. I want you to do it. I want you to do it. I don't want anybody else. And so that's what I took on. And that's what I was giving to them. And it caused me to burn out. So I actually discovered Lights Camera Branding, or Coach Glitter, during my break. I was like, I need a break. I'm tired. I am burnt out. I cannot decorate another cake.
Right.
I cannot frost another cupcake. I just need a break. Mentally, I was starting to break down.
Right.
And I was like, babes, I'm on the verge of a breakdown. I need you to go to work and just hold the family down while I really just figure out what I want to do, who I am, because I got lost in who I was too. Right. My life and my world just consists of waking up, filling orders, going to bed, filling orders. It was just, that became my life. So during the break, I discovered this, and it brought back like passions. It caused me to discover things that I had been putting on hold, that I had been wanting to pursue, but I never really had the time to do it. So cooking has always been my first love, always. Baking has been my second. And so now I'm exploring my first love, which is cooking. And it's crazy because my father-in-law always said, cooking is going to take you where you want to go. You cook so well. And he knows, because he worked for the gas company for over 30 years. He was very high up in the company to where he was like turning on buildings and restaurants. So he's tried all kind of food. And he always says that he's never tasted any food like mine. And he's not the only person who says that. I get that feedback from everyone, which lets me know that now I'm truly operating in my gift. This is the gift that God gave me. Even my taste buds are different. It's like a gift that I have that lies on my taste buds. They're very bougie, and they require the best. And I have a certain knack for flavors and combinations. So that's all a part of my gift, and I'm really tuning in and channeling it. So that's why I'm like, okay, I'm going to stop procrastinating. I'm going to stop operating in fear. I'm going to stop thinking about what everybody else thinks, what they're going to say, who I'm going to lose, who's not going to come on a journey with me.
Right.
I had to let go of all of that,
Right.
just so I can figure out, what does Kim want?
Right.
What is going to make Kim happy?
Right.
And then ever since my 20s, I had this screaming voice in my soul telling me that I was destined for greatness. And I believe that ever since I was younger. But in my 20s, that's when the voice became known, like, okay, this is what you're going to do.
Right.
You have to do it. And I'm like, okay, no, I'm not going to listen to this. I'm just going to do what everybody else is telling me to do, and just do the regular, 9 to 5 whole bit, and just do what everybody else is telling you to do. So I silenced that voice, because deep down, I didn't want to take that walk alone. I wanted someone to take that walk with me. So I tried to pull friends in. It never worked out. I tried to pull families in, my family members, it never worked out. No one really had the passion and the motivation and the ambition and the drive that I had. And it made me look at myself like, am I asking for too much? Do I want too much out of life? What is it? But it was the greatness that God had put in me. And it never went away. Even when it was a flaming fire or just a little flicker of a flame, it never went away. It still was there. And so even though I pushed it down and I silenced it, as the years went by, it got louder and louder and louder, till it was like, look here, you're going to do it. You're going to be great. You're going to do the things that you need to do.
Right.
This journey is not meant for you to take everybody. Whoever is meant to be on this journey with you will be. Everyone else, let them go and be okay with it. And once I started being obedient to God and what he was telling me, oh my goodness, Barbie, so many doors started opening. Right. So many opportunities started coming my way. So many things started falling into place and started to do what they were supposed to do, that I'm like, why didn't I do this sooner? But, everything happens for a reason. And I guess now is my time, because I've always been a confident person, but now I'm unapologetically confident. So I'm like, oh, okay.
I think help people, as you were saying, how you felt that sense of, come with me, we'll do this together. I'm sure you wanted to lift other people up, but
I did.
I think that by your example of your growth and, just this amazing platform that you're building, that from that, then you're going to help, first of all, by the example of that alone.
Yes.
But, you can help, I think, a lot more people that way by your growth and where you're at, and the genuinely, beautiful person that you are. You're relatable, your journey, your story about your mom and how you persevered and how you turned that story into strength. That's gonna help so many people who view their own hardship as debilitating, something they can't get past.
Yes.
And
I totally agree with you. Yes, yeah. And that's what I had to learn the hard way, because the people that I was trying to help, I thought that they wanted help, but they didn't really want help. They just wanted not someone to do it all, but you know how some people get stuck in their funk, and they want that ear to listen, and they want that motivation, but then they don't do nothing with it. They just constantly want you feeding it to them. Mm-hmm. So I've learned that now I'm helping people who want the help.
Right.
So they're utilizing what I'm offering. They're seeing value in what I have to offer, my content, my experience, my knowledge that I've gained over the years. So not only am I helping people that actually want help, but now I'm reaching more people. Mm-hmm. So I'm killing two birds with one stone, so to speak, because I get to help people like I've always wanted to, because that's been a deep desire in my heart, mm-hmm. is to help people. So now I can help people, but on a bigger scale. And it's a different kind of help, because making cakes, that's a gratification that I got, to see the smile on people's face when they see it and when they taste it. But this type of help, I'm actually changing lives. I'm helping people to stay healthy. I'm helping people stay around for their family members. So I'm helping in a grander way that's more fulfilling to me.
Right. Now,
yes.
You know what? I didn't ask you about your cakes, if there's any, or do you do anything with that healthy element? I know some people bake in that same vein.
Mm-hmm.
Are your cakes healthy?
No, okay. They're full fat, full bodied. They contain eggs and yes, that's the indulgence part.
Okay, that's fine.
Yes, and I don't want to change my recipes because they're so tried and true.
Right.
And if I did, my customers would be like, "What? What is this?"
I want good, but I mean,
yes. So that's the indulgence part.
That vegan style something on the side and leave that indulgence alone, because I want to taste that.
Well, actually, I perfected the vegan. Like my most favorite desserts was like the cobbler, some brownies, chocolate chip cookies, because that was like me and my husband's favorite. So okay. I perfected that. I veganized those. Okay. Now, all of the other stuff I haven't, because I tried that before, and some people purchase them, but the majority of people, when they purchase the cake, they want the real deal.
Right.
So, yeah, we did a trial and error, test that out for about 2 years straight, and then I found out nobody don't want that other stuff. Yeah.
Right.
They don't.
You're doing your indulgence, right?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
So as far as you are clearly a beautiful woman, but you are glowing, Kim, as far as your own self-care, I know you mentioned the burnout, which is a huge thing for, moms,
yes.
moms in business, mompreneurs. Yes. So how do you handle that part of things? Your own self-care, you said you knew it was time to take a break. Mm-hmm. How do you handle those things, and how do you treat yourself and, make sure that Kim has what Kim needs?
Okay, so I've always been the type to go to the hairdresser, get my hair done, mm-hmm. stuff like that. And my husband has always made time for me to do that. So I've never really had any restrictions or restraints when it came to that. But as far as self-care, to me, it was more of my sole purpose, my heart's desire, because I found that I was starting to wither up inside and almost like die, like a flower. I needed to grow. I needed to flourish. And all of the external stuff really didn't matter.
Right.
It was more of the internal stuff. I wanted to be happy. I wanted to be free. I wanted to live the life that I always wanted to live as far as my soul is concerned. Mm-hmm. So, like I said, the external stuff, the pampering stuff, I've always sort of did that.
Okay.
As I got a little older, it's been less, because I'm like, why am I going to waste my money with that? I'm going to lay down on it. I'm going to sweat it out. So, because as you get older, you sweat more. Yeah. And I learned that from my 30s. Ever since I turned 30, I'm like, oh, I got a little peach fuzz. I'm sweating all the time. My hairstyle never lasts more than 3 days. Either I'm too tired and then I lay down on it and I wake up and half side is frizzy and the other side is straight. I'm like, okay, it's time to prioritize. Okay, so the external stuff has now took a seat in the back, in the back lane, and now it's more of what do I want? What does my heart desire? So I had a talk with my husband and I was like, babes, I'm really starting to wither up and die inside. I don't know how else to explain it, but that's how I'm feeling. And this calling that's on my life is not going away. No matter how many times I try to stuff it down, silence it, dead it, it's not going anywhere. So it's meant for me to walk in my purpose. And that's how I had to, be straightforward and talk to him. And I'm so thankful that I have a supportive husband because he's always supported me in my journey, no matter what it is, So he was like, okay, well, I'm going to go to work and I'm going to allow you this time because he believes in me and he knows what I put my hands to and what I put my heart to, it's always successful because we always had success. So I made a believer out of him years ago. Okay. So when I bring something to the forefront, he's like, okay, what do I have to do? Okay. What position do I have to play in order for you to get this done? So I told him I needed him to go back to work, which he has. And now he took on more hours. So, we had to adjust and adapt to the whole hours and schedule thing, but we make it work. And he was like, I know you're going to be great. You've been telling me that we were going to be wealthy and you were going to be successful ever since I met you. And I see that in you. So I'm just going to let you do your thing. And so he's allowed me to do that. And that's all that's really important to me right now is to fulfill my heart's desires and to finally silence that voice, but in the right manner, in a good way, to where I'm walking in my purpose and fulfilling my purpose and doing the things that God has called me to do. So I'm no longer living in fear. I'm no longer walking in fear. It's just all about me fulfilling my purpose and helping whoever I can help. Even if I just help one person, I've done my job. And it's even greater if I get to help more people along the way.
That's wonderful, Sharon. Okay, so clearly you're a woman of God. You talk about connection with God. So do you think that, do you use prayer or meditation on a daily, something to ground you and connect you? Because it gets crazy.
Yeah, well, I find myself, I'm always talking to God. So I believe that prayer is talking to God. So I just talk to him regular. Right. I don't get all fancy smancy with it because then you can get lost in trying to make it perfect. But God knows our heart. He knows who we are. He knows what we're going to do before we do it. So I'm just real with him and I talk to him throughout the day. And I'm like, sometimes I'm angry with him. I'm like, Lord, why are you doing this? And, I'm just real with him. I'm not perfect. I never claimed to be. So I know before I used to go to church faithfully all the time. Every Sunday I went to church. I went to Bible study. And I found that why it's okay to get your daily, your food that you need from hearing the word. If you're never implementing that, if you're never putting it to action, if you're never doing the work, if you're never going out into the world and helping people like God wants you to do, all of that is for nothing. That's right. You can go there every week. You can sit up there and then you I don't know, you start to feel judgy, then you start to judge others. And so I had to take a step away from that. And I hate to admit it, but I haven't been to church in about 2 years, and this has been the best 2 years of my life. And I'm only going to say that because I already know the word. I've been to church long enough to know the word. It's in my heart. It's in my soul. I have a Bible, so I can always refer to the word.
Right.
But now I am walking in my purpose, or starting to walk in my purpose. I'm out getting my feet dirty, getting my feet wet. I'm actually implementing these things that I've been learning all these years.
Right.
So these last 2 years, I have my own personal relationship with God. It's the best that it's ever been. And that's all that's really matters, is that you have that relationship with him.
Right.
Because it's not about the church. That's just a brick and mortar. But it's about having that relationship with him.
Right.
And doing good works. So that's where I'm at now. So now I'm more into implementing things. I'm more into taking what I've learned all these years, going out into the world and shining my light so bright,
right,
that people can see God in me. Yeah. And if that leads them to him, then I've done my job.
Right.
And me helping people as far as health is concerned, I've done my job as well. So, right. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I want to make sure that I didn't forget anything. I have my little cheat sheet.
Okay.
I think we've covered most of it, but what do you think for someone who, I honestly hate it, and probably because at, like you said, how you're starting something new. I feel like a lot of times people say, what would you tell someone younger? But for me, my start over, because, I'm going through a divorce right now, or going through a divorce, I'd rather say. But my starting over isn't happening at my younger self. It's happening right now. And I know a lot of people in my age group, in their 40s, are, not everyone, but implementing a new lifestyle. So I'd rather say, what type of advice would you give to someone, especially a mom, who would like to pursue their passion and their purpose via a business that they feel strongly about? What would you say is the best way? I mean, if you'd like to speak to the younger, you can, of course, but I see, just because of my journey, and I know a lot of people who are doing that at not a quote unquote young age. I think it's anyone starting over or starting something.
Okay, so my advice would be to start over whenever you start over. We're always starting over, if you really think about it, because we're always adjusting, we're always adapting to new things that come into our lives. So we're technically always starting over, but it just depends on how long you stay in something that you've started over. That really makes the difference. So I've been trying things ever since I was younger. I started off doing hair. I did that for a few years. I found out that I didn't want to be standing on my feet all the time. And then, braiding and doing hair, my joints were starting. I'm like, no, this is not for me. I was a nurse, so I've been in the hospital element, and then I realized, okay, I can't do this for the rest of my life either. So I would say start off by trying different things. Start to explore your passions or your dream that you have, and really dive in deep. Don't just put half foot in. Go in all the way. See what it really has to offer, to see if that's something that you really want to do. Because a lot of times we want to do something in our head, and then once we start doing it, we're like, ooh, this is not for me. Ooh, I didn't know this was going to be involved. So that's why you really have to dive in head first. Pick one thing first, pick something, whatever it might be. dive in, get your feet wet, get your hands dirty, see what it's about, see, you know, the ins and out, what it has to offer, what are the drawbacks, what are the pros, the cons. Really dive in deep so you can really get a full understanding if that's something that you want to do or you don't want to do. And as you go down your checklist, if you have one, whether it's mental or on paper, then you realize what you don't want to do. And then you're left with the things that you do want to do. And then you start from there, because I believe that we can do all of the things that we want to do in life, just not at the same time. So you can just go down the list and, you know, explore that and fulfill your purpose and your dreams in that, and then move on to the next thing, and so on and so forth. But we're always starting over, so I wouldn't make it an end all be all. Like, if you start off with one thing, that's something that you have to do for the rest of your life, whether you're miserable or not. No. If it's something that you don't want to do, you're not happy, you're miserable, try something else. I'm not saying to quit your job or just stop where you are, but slowly put things in place to where you can make that transition. And then if it's something that you want to do and you, let's see, how can I put this? Okay, if there's something that you want to do and you just have to quit your job or stop right where you are and let everything go, God will make that known, because he will set up that situation to where you either get fired or something will happen to where you just find yourself without that job or without that position. Right. And then from there, you take that as a blessing. And that's his way of pushing you into doing something that you're meant to do. And a lot of people see it as setbacks, like, oh, I lost my job, I don't know what I'm going to do. Right. I'm not doing this anymore. But he was trying to get you to do it on your own slowly, but you just never got the picture. Right. Or you never took the hint. So now he has to put you in a position where he's going to make you or force you into the way that he wants you to go. Okay. Yeah. So I just say embrace it. Embrace change. Be open to change. Be open to be open-minded. Nothing in life is set in stone. Things can change from week to week, from month to month. So we're just all walking this earth. You know, this is a journey. This is a journey we're on. It's never really a destination, but a journey that we're taking until we leave this earth. And throughout our journey, there's so many things that we're inspired to do. There's so many things that we're called to do. There's so many things that God wants us to do along our journey, right, until we're no longer here.
Now, I heard you say, Kim, about, I just forgot the words I was about to say, but it is basically, I know a lot of people stay in that safe place. And like I said, you and I met each other in our Lights Camera Branding group. And I don't know about you, but I had never done a Facebook Live video. And my first one was god awful. It was really, really bad.
That's how I felt.
So I know what you've done because of that, but I wanted to also speak to, in life, not only entrepreneurs, us not just doing what is comfortable, us not just doing what is, us meaning anyone, you know, who wants to out, not just doing what is safe, because clearly when you name those different career paths that you said, you could have stayed, you know, a nurse. That's a solid profession. And I think a lot of times people don't pursue their passions and their purpose because of what is safe. And when they're not, if that's your passion and your purpose, then stay there.
Yes.
And grow there. But if it's
Mhm.
not, I feel like they're scared. So what do you say about that? Because you have a family, you have a husband, you have children, and you still took that risk and that leap.
And that's funny that you mentioned that, because when I told my husband that I was no longer going to be a nurse, he cried. That was the first time I ever seen him cry. Literally, he cried. He was like, "What are you doing? What's going to happen?" And he cried, and I was just like, "Oh my goodness, I've never seen my husband cry. This must be very important to him." And I explained to him, I'm like, "Babes, before I met you, I was a risk taker.
Right.
I've always been a risk taker. I've always followed my heart, and I have to be happy. I have to. I cannot go through life being miserable. I was miserable there." So I explained to him, like I said, communication is important. I explained to him, and I showed him better than I can tell him. So when I left that profession, I started my own business. And believe it or not, I made more money than I did in my own business in the first 6 months than I had with the nursing business. And I wasn't as miserable. I got to be with my family and my friends, and it was something that I enjoyed doing. So once I did that, I made a believer out of him. And that goes back to what I was telling you. Now, when I bring him something, he's already been through that with me. So he knows that I'm not just going to start and stop something if I'm not in it wholeheartedly. And I know that there's something that can be worked. There's some type of magic there. Yeah. That's in that. So I made a believer out of him. I showed him better than I can tell him. Like I said, when I told him, it was meltdown city, but he quickly bounced back because I put my money where my mouth is, and I got to work, and I showed him. And that's basically all you can do. You can only walk in your purpose, do what you got to do, and those people around you will see you. They will see what you're doing. They will see how other people respond. They will see the impact that you're making. They will see the changes that are being made. They will see your light shine, because I was happier. I wasn't miserable anymore. So he even reaped the benefits of me being more happy than not.
Right.
Yeah. So
how did you
say, go for it?
Was it always? Now, that was a great story of that 6 months, but if you have a situation where you do start something new and you're not seeing it, do you think that is an indicator to go a different way, or is that an indicator to, if you have that passion and purpose, to keep pushing?
I would say if you have that passion or purpose to keep pushing, at least you at least want to give something 2 years. Right. 2 honest years. And if you don't see some type of change, growth, something towards, like it's growing, it's starting to flourish, it's starting to bloom, then you might want to make some changes to it and then test it out a little longer. But if you go past 3 years, there's nothing happening, no one is biting, no one sees any value in it. Okay. No one sees any value in it, then you might want to change what you're doing.
No one, meaning your customer, right?
Yes, your customer. Because, let's face it, we're all in business to make some type of money. You want to do a little bit of both. You want to help people, and then you still want to be able to support your family. So you can tell if it's going to go somewhere, because other people will see that. They'll see it. They're like, "Oh yeah, you're on to something. Oh yeah, that's a good idea. That, that's going to take you somewhere." They'll see it, and it'll be beneficial to them as well as other people. So you'll know.
And then also, like I mentioned, we're in Lights Camera Branding together. That is a like-minded community. Because, you know, one of the things that I've seen is it's not that people who love you and care about you, they might be trying to protect you when you're trying a new venture, but they might not understand it, or they never, you know, might not have experienced it. So they might be a lot of times speaking from a safe place of, you know, this is a solid profession. Why would you do that? But now you absolutely have to seek out communities, coaches, you know, environments where people are doing what you want to do. I think that you have to in that walk.
Yes, that's so true. And that now that you say that, I probably would have been a little further than where I am now, but I believe everything happens for a reason, so we're right where we need to be.
Right.
But I've always had the attitude where you can't tell me what to do. So if I have something in my heart and in my mind, even if the person is saying, oh, that's not a good idea, that's not going to work, what if, I'm like, okay, all of those sound like excuses, and that's fine. Yeah. You can tell yourself that, but you can't tell me what I can and what I can't do. When I want to do something and it's in my heart, I have to go hard. There's nothing that anyone can say that will persuade me to be stagnant or lessen myself or not pursue what I want to pursue just because of their insecurities, or just because they're afraid, or just because they never stepped out of their comfort zone or outside of the box. That's all I've been doing. That's all I've been pushed to do. You know, stemming from my childhood. Did I want to take care of myself? No. Did I have to? Yes. If I wanted to eat, if I wanted clothes. So I had that mindset on top of my mom. I'm going to give her this, because even though she was on drugs my whole life, she always told me that I could do whatever I want to do. I can be whatever I want to be. As long as I put my mind to it. And she instilled that in me so much, so hard. That's all I ever heard. So whenever I took an idea to her, she was like, you can do it. What do you need? What are you going to do? How are you going to do it? So I'm like, oh, okay. What am I going to do? What do I need? Let me write down a list. You know, she got me to think and be proactive and to not make a whole bunch of excuses, but to just dive in, do it, start with what you have. You don't need $1 gazillion. You don't need all your ducks lined in a row. Just start with where you are. What you have, because when I started my bakery, I was broke. I didn't have any money. I just started with what I had, which was my recipes, the willingness, the drive that I had, the ambition, me getting up, making those cakes, getting them out there some type of way, signing up for farmers markets, whatever I had to do to get exposure is what I did. So, you know, she's always put that in me, and that stuck with me. So when people tell me that, I look like, I can't do it. Oh, I'm going to show you. And so I get to it. I'm like, I'm going to show you how it's done. I'm going to get to it. And I'm going to start with what I have, and then I'm going to grow from there. And I'm not ashamed. I'm not ashamed of my story. I'm not ashamed of not having everything lined up. I'm not ashamed of not having all the money that I need. I just know when I want to start something, I just dive in deep. I start it no matter what I have. And then God just adds those extra things, and he brings that into my life. And he showed me that if you want something, you do your part and I'll do mine. Don't worry about my part. You just focus on your part. That's all you can do. And I will do the rest. And I never know how he's going to do it or when. I just know that he does. And I'm just so focused when I start on something. My head is down. I'm just focused. I'm in the game and everything is happening around me. But I'm so focused. They're like, Kim, I seen you doing this and that and that. I'm like, oh, really? I have watchers. I have people who's, so once I lift my head up, I've already done so much work.
Her food is, I'm telling you, you have to see her food. I mean, as beautiful as this woman is inside and out, her food, if you told me right now you had a restaurant, I would be going over there right now, running before I went to go pick up my children after.
And so many people tell me that. They're like, you need to open a restaurant. I'm like, no, that's too much work. What I want to do is I want to help people more than I work. Okay. So that's why I'm just showing my fruit. And sometimes I shock myself. I'm like, okay, I'm going to post the recipes and the pictures. And then I go to take the pictures and I just take all these different pictures and I go back through them. I'm like, wow, this looks amazing. Right. So I surprise myself, but that's all in just doing the work. And I've had like some of my audience member, how do you take those pictures? I'm like, I'm just using my iPhone. Wait till I get a camera. Woo!
You do. You have great pictures.
Thank you. So
what can we look forward to from you in the future? And right now, if we want to reach out to Kim, tell us what can we get from Kim? An amazing indulgent cake for our 20%.
Okay. Yes.
So let us know everything that we can get from Kim McGee.
Okay, so you can find me at In the Kitchen with Kim on Facebook or Instagram. Facebook is more of my stomping grounds. That's where I do my lives. That's where I post my recipes because the format that they have set up, I'm able to really do it well there. I'm able to engage and connect more with my Facebook audience. So you can either find me on Facebook or Instagram. And then as far as what the future holds, I'm working on my cookbook. I'm actually in the process of that. I'm doing it slowly but surely. I don't have a deadline because I don't want that pressure, but I want it to come naturally so you can get the best recipes possible. So that's what I do. I just let things flow. And then I'm also working on a membership site where you can have access to my recipes. Okay. And you'll have way more recipes that's on the Facebook page. So that's just like a little teaser of what I'm really going to offer. And it'll be a monthly membership for a low price where you can just dive in and have access to so many recipes. And it'll be 80% vegan and 20% indulgence. Because I have some bad indulgent recipes that, because I've only been vegan for a year. Before that, all my dishes that I cook contain meat. And I've mastered that. So it'll be a little bit of both. Okay. And then there was one other thing. Let's see. I have it listed on my thing because I wanted to do a cookbook, the membership, and I'll just say that's it for now because I do want to incorporate some type of cooking tour where I go around to different cities and states. And, people can come and actually taste my cooking. They'll have an actual experience with me where they get to, talk to me, meet me, and taste all these delicious recipes that I have to offer. But not all of them in that one night. But, I'll have a menu per se for that evening. And that way I can get to really interact with people and my audience and really know, who they are and what they really want and where they're coming from. And that way they get to taste it as well how I cook it. Because everybody cooks different. So, when they follow the recipe, it might not taste exactly like mine, but it's good. And I'm going to leave you with this one tip. Okay. A lot of times when you find recipes online in a book, the chef never really gives you the full recipe.
What?
That's why when you taste it, you're like, this is not as good as they said. Something is missing. I had to learn that the hard way. And so that's why when I cook and give my recipes, I give the full recipe so you can get the full experience, the full taste. I'm not leaving anything out. I'm not putting the guesswork in it for you where you have to still dibble and dabble and try to figure it out and make it right. I'm giving you the real deal. So you get all of the flavor. Yes.
You mean all my Food Network shows I used to watch and everything? They just...
Have you ever cooked something that you got from a recipe and it tastes good right off the top?
No, I'm saying that makes sense what you're saying.
Yes.
I thought it was just me.
No, it's not just you.
You know, a little creative and make it a little better.
Yes. And they do that because I think that they don't really want you to have the true recipe. But I figure when I do something, I do it wholeheartedly. What's the point of giving you the recipe if you still have to tweak it and work it out and figure it out? Right. I want you to taste and experience what I'm tasting and experiencing. So I give you the real recipe.
Okay, well, since you're not going to do a restaurant, maybe you'll do a pop-up or something that we can...
Yes, Yes, yeah.
Okay, and Kim, you said in your post, because you said this or else I wouldn't be asking, and I know there's a lot of women here, so I want to know. The vegan, since you changed your diet, you showed that you had lost a lot of weight. So
yes,
how much?
30 pounds.
30 pounds.
Yes, and this is within the year, and it would probably be more if I was
in 1 year.
Yes, because I've only been a vegan for 1 year, 2 months.
Oh, I see what you're saying. But the picture you posted was from before. But within 1 year, you lost 30. Wow.
Yes, because minus the baby weight, because when I posted that picture, I hadn't even had my daughter yet or got pregnant. I was having difficulties. That's another reason why I changed the way I ate, so I could, get pregnant and keep the pregnancy, because I was having a lot of miscarriages. Okay. And I just, usually when I get pregnant, I have something called hyperemesis, where I have morning sickness pretty much the whole pregnancy. Okay. So with my pregnancies, instead of gaining weight, I always lose weight, and I get really, really tiny. Okay. So that was just from the very start of my journey, where I wasn't feeling well. I was starting to have a lot of problems till now. But I slowly lost weight, but it came back because it wasn't mainly fruits and vegetables. I still had meat in my diet. Okay. And I was still having some, I wasn't feeling my best. But it wasn't until I let go of the meat the majority of the time to where I really felt my best. So I can still indulge in meat, dairy, cheese, and still feel my best, because the majority of the time I'm eating plant-based, and my bacteria my bacteria in my gut knows the difference. It's totally changed now, because the way we eat determines our bacteria gut. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Oh, okay. Determines our bacteria gut. So my stomach knows what to do with it. So when I eat meat, it, goes in and it goes out, and it's still good.
Right.
Yeah. And then one other tip. It takes 10 days for your taste buds to change. So once you start eating the right way, or the healthier way, I should say, because then after that 10th day, your taste buds will adjust to your new lifestyle. So as long as you don't eat all of the meat or the chemicals or the non-GMOs for 10 days in a row, then you're good.
You're good.
your body will still crave and be used to the healthy stuff.
Right.
But if you eat all of the wrong things for 10 days or more, that's what your body is going to crave. It's going to want that stuff.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Thank you for that heads up.
Yes, yes. So just at least give it 2 weeks. At least give it 2 weeks.
No,
Yeah.
it's worth it. It's definitely worth it. Do you feel like you have more energy? And
Yes. And I didn't notice that my skin was glowing. My husband was like, "You're glowing." I'm like, "Maybe, please." Okay. I'm not glowing. My skin has always been smooth. He was like, "No, you're glowing." And I'm like, "Okay." But when I took that picture,
yeah,
I saw the glow that everyone else sees. Because, you know, when you see yourself every day, you don't see the changes that are happening.
right.
But when other people see you, they see it all the time. Because
Right.
when I go into the grocery store, you know, everyone knows me at Whole Foods because that's like my store. So they're like, "Oh, Kim, you're looking so great. What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm still eating plant-based." "Oh, okay, okay." So they see all of those changes, but I didn't.
Right.
And it just dawned on me because that old picture came up in my timeline. And I'm like, okay, let me put that old picture and this new picture side by side. And that's where the magic was created. I'm on fire now. I'm like, what? I am my own testimony. I actually did it.
Right.
This has paid off. I'm seeing the results.
Yeah.
Now I actually have a visual to go off of. And before it was just sort of in my head because I didn't have a jawline. It was totally gone.
Mm-hmm.
And now I do.
Mm-hmm.
And I look younger. I feel younger. I have more energy.
Yeah.
My migraines, my headaches are totally gone.
Well,
I had real bad dandruff. That's gone.
Wow.
Yeah. Yes. It just reverses everything. Yes. Yes.
No, you know what? Okay, I'm gonna say this and I know we need to get off. I juiced one time for 30 days with the juicing machine. And honestly, I am a firm believer in how it does change you because I experienced it because, you know, I woke up and would be doing the dishes. Not woke up. I didn't go to sleep yet. I would still be juicing late into the night. And I would be sleeping like sometimes like 4 hours, but not because I wasn't getting sleep. It was because I didn't need it. I had no body odor. I had no odor in the mouth. Like all those change.
All of that stems from meat. The body odor, like the bad breath, it stems from meat. When we go to sleep, that's our body's way of getting rid of like the toxic and the fumes. So that's where that comes from. And the less meat that you eat, the less body odor you do have. And it was one other thing that I was going to say that was important that I had at the tip of my tongue and now I forgot. I don't know. Maybe it'll come back. But yes.
You were saying about the odor and the meat.
Yeah, the meat is what's causing a lot of the problems because they're pumped with so many hormones. Just the killing process of the animal is so detrimental. So we take all of that in when we're eating it and wonder why we're so moody, we're so angry, we're so emotional, all of that is connected.
What about like free range? When you get like the free range and then
they say that, but they're still cooped up. They're not really able to, because my whole perception was, oh, cows are out in the pasture grazing, eating on the grass, the fruit of the land.
Yeah.
It's nothing like that. It is it's industrial farming now. It's not like it used to be back in the days. So now all of the animals are in a small enclosure. They don't get to do anything. They're ripped away from their mothers and their babies. It's just not what it's supposed to be, and it's more of a money thing. You know, they're just all about profit. So we really have to take our health into our own hands. We can't really trust outside sources to look out for our own health and our own well-being and our family's health. We have to take matters into our own hand. We have to read labels. We have to know what we're putting in our body, on our bodies, and yeah.
We do have to take the responsibility.
Yes, it is our responsibility. It is.
Okay.
And once I found that out,
Teaching me
then yes, that's how. Yeah.
and I just went grocery shopping. Thanks, Kim.
Yeah, no, but you know, it was a slow transition for me. I started by going organic. That was my first thing.
Okay.
That was my first thing. I omitted high fructose corn syrup out of my diet altogether. Okay. It's in ketchup. It's in jelly. It's in soda. It's in snacks. It's in everything. So you have to switch those snacks to, you know, you can still eat those things, but without the high fructose corn syrup. So I got rid of the high fructose corn syrup. I got rid of the soy. And then I got rid of the, what was I about to say? Oh, the GMOs. I just went organic. So I was still eating meat. I was still eating the things that we're used to, but everything was either organic or non-GMO. And once I did that for 3 years, then I switched to plant-based. That's why it was a slow transition. So as long as you're ridding your body of those chemicals that the GMOs have to offer, you're on the right way. And that's what I was going to say. I remembered. When you eat organic and you eat plant-based, you're feeding your body on a cellular level. So you're actually feeding your cells. You're giving them the nutrients and the minerals that they need to perform. So you're probably going to feel less hungry. I don't eat as much as I did when I wasn't plant-based because I'm feeding my cells. They're not starving. They're not hungry. They're getting fed all of the nutrients. And a lot of times we think we're hungry when we're really thirsty and we need to drink water. Okay. We need to hydrate ourselves. So what you don't want to do is just eat, and you're not drinking. Right. So you want to get your water intake in, because if you think about it, we wake up, we eat breakfast, then we have a snack, we eat lunch, then we have a snack, then we eat dinner, and then we might have another snack. You're never giving your body a chance to digest all of that stuff, and then you wake up and you do it all over again. Right. So as you start to feed your body what it really needs, you'll start to eat less. And it's nothing to be alarmed about. It's just that your cells are actually being fed now.
And what about distilled water?
Distilled water, that's more for, I don't know, I use that to put in my iron so it doesn't calcify.
I literally will get to the water section, and this might seem easy for you. That's why I was like, wait, what is the right water? Because I thought I was doing the right thing with the alkaline. Okay. Mm-hmm. So I wrote it down, the spring water.
Spring water. Yes. Natural spring water. Yes. Uh-huh. Okay. And then you want it, as long as it says like bottled at the source, then you're good to go. Yes. Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Kim. I am
You're welcome. Thank you.
Happy you joined us today and that you taught us so much. I really, honestly, with my hectic schedule, I am really inspired by you and your journey, because I know you're a busy mom with a thriving business, and you know, I love your heart. I love your passion. Even though you are growing your business, you can tell it. The core of it is that you care. There's love here, and because of that, you're going to be blessed. And I'm just so thankful for you. And I'm going to definitely tune in, and I'm probably going to be knocking at your door soon to get some food.
Okay, that's fine. That is totally fine. We're too close not to connect.
We just
I'm just
found
gonna
out
put
that we were really close to each other.
Yes.
And
And then I just found out you had a boo. Yes. We definitely have to connect because yes. So
and I definitely want to please don't invite me to eat without the indulgent 20% of my cake.
no. I remember. I promise that. Yeah, I will not show up or vice versa without having a cake.
Okay.
Yes.
And is there anything else you want everyone to know that we might not have said, or you want to sum up something about the healthy lifestyle and
I just encourage everyone to just take baby steps. Nothing happens overnight. It didn't happen overnight for me, so it won't for you. I don't expect or force anyone to do anything that they don't want to do. It's all about choices that we have, and I just encourage you to choose life, to choose, health, to choose what you put into your body, and take careful consideration on what you're eating. And like I said, the number one tool that you have is to read your labels. And if you reading those labels and you cannot pronounce half of that stuff, just put it back and find an alternative to where it's still the same. It might be chips or cookies or whatever. And as long as you can read what's in the ingredients, then that's more of the right thing for you and your body, because you want to give it the things that it needs. And yes, I'm here to help and encourage in any way you can. So you can always reach out and inbox me, message me on either Facebook or Instagram at In the Kitchen with Kim. I'll be happy to answer any of your questions. And I think that's about it.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, Kim.
Thank you, Barbie. Okay.
Bye. Okay. Bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.